I'm taking this thing head on, one debt at a time. Bing, bing, bing. They want the horn. They're gonna bring the horns right while I'm making this video. Now the horns wanna come. I've been here all this time contemplating this video. As soon as I make the video, the horns wanna come. But that's all right though. Good credit was my dream. Now debt is my nightmare.
I do this. I do this. I do this. I do this. I do this.
Good credit was my dream. Now debt is my nightmare. Part 2. I'm remembering when I wanted to get things and I never had the amount of money that it took to get it. And the representative would ask me, the associate would say, do you want to apply for a credit card? And I always would say no, or sometimes I would say yes. And I started saying no because I got tired of saying yes and not getting approved. So I just went on saying to myself, forget credit. And whatever it is that I wanted, I just didn't have it. I never worked on my credit. When people would tell me no, I would just take it as a no and not have whatever it was that I had my eyes on. I did that for a long time, and then I slowly started to think about my credit a little more and take it serious and actually start establishing it, right? Now, once I started establishing credit, people were telling me yes for a lot of things. That helped me out a lot because I still didn't have the money to get these things that I'm looking at, right? So I'm at a point now where I done racked up a few credit cards, accumulated. Let's not say racked up, but I've accumulated a few credit cards, right? And I've decided that I was going to be intelligent, right? After screwing up my credit and then cleaning it back up and doing it again and cleaning it back up, I decided that I was going to use my credit cards for a security blanket. Like, I'm not going to use my credit cards unless it's like an emergency or something very serious. So I put my credit cards up, and I might have a total of 4 credit cards with a certain amount of money on it that should be able to get me out of most jams that I could acquire, because I know I don't have a lot of money. So for example, something happens with my car's engine or transmission or something that requires more than $1,000, and if I don't have that money, I'm going to go to the credit card. We're going to save this credit card just for purposes of that nature, right? Because we want to get out of a jam quickly. It's nothing worse than when your car breaks down, you have to wait until you get paid to get your car fixed. So I told myself these credit cards are going to eliminate me from having to do that, right? So I thought that was a bright thing to do, and that's how I move. But after a while, you don't get yourself into any of those jams that you're prepared for, right? And you're sitting here with all of this credit, and you say to yourself, I haven't been in any jams. I'm sitting on all this money. I'm going to treat myself. So you treat yourself, to something nice. Maybe it be a vacation or anything. You use your credit without being in a jam. You figure, hey, I've been having it so long. What's the use of having it if I'm not going to use it? So you use it. After a while, you use it again. And then something comes up, like your house had a window that broke. Now, when one window break, like these windows right here, right? If one window breaks, they're not going to come and replace one window. They got to take this whole section out of the house and replace the whole section, even though only one window is broken, right? So I did that. That ran me $1,700, right? On credit. Credit is working pretty good, you know. I didn't have $1,700 laying around, but I have a Lowe's card with enough money to pay for the window, so I use it. Now, this comes up, that comes up, the third comes up. Non-emergencies. Now I'm just getting free with using the credit card. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not worried about a monthly payment. I'm making a monthly payment. But after a while, the monthly payments accumulate to the point where the total amount that I'm kicking out monthly on these monthly payments is way too high. So what do you do then, right? You consolidate. I go to the credit union and I ask for a personal loan. What's the reason for the personal loan? The personal loan is so that I can consolidate my debts. I done racked up too many monthly payments and I need to make all of this stuff go away. So I do that, right? I do that and it lowers my monthly payment to something smaller than what I was kicking out before I went to the credit union. So I still have a monthly payment, but it's not all the way up here. It's almost like half of that. So they knock half of it off. And that's a good thing, right? Yeah, that's a good thing. But let me tell you something. It's nothing better than being debt-free at all. Being able to have good credit and get people to give me personal loans is not as good to me as being debt-free. Okay? And having money, because it's like once you consolidate your debt, you're never ever going to get out of debt. Okay, you might owe less, but you still owe. All right? If you borrow, let's say $30,000 to clear out the debt, you did that, but you still owe another financial institution $30,000. You just have a smaller amount that you have to kick out now. You know, so it didn't help you 100%. It just like lowered it. It saved you a little bit, right? But you're not out of it, because now that you owe the one financial institution, you're like very skeptical and trying hard not to use your credit for anything else. Because if I just made, let's just say, $1,000 bill turn into 500, I don't want to do something else now and add on to the 500. It's like, but that's what happens. You do something else and you slowly and slowly build your debt back up to where it was before you consolidated. That's the nightmare. Good credit was my dream. Now debt is my nightmare. Because now I'm to the point where it doesn't even feel like I consolidated. And I'm not being frivolous with it. I mean, time is going by, but you know, when you make your monthly payments on a loan, you could be doing that for years. So things can happen over a period of time, and you're going to use that credit whether you plan to or not. You don't have to, but if you look at the credit as a cushion, you're going to use it as a cushion. And before you know it, you're right back at square one. And now the stress begins all over again. You see, I think that before I had credit, I experienced less stress, because let's take it back to the beginning of the video. If I go and I want something like a new phone and I don't have the money to purchase it because the phone costs $1,500, and they deny me credit because my credit score is too low, then I have one option or two options. I gotta do what I gotta do to get that $1,500 up and go get the phone that I desire, or I gotta find a phone that's more affordable for me. That's what happens. So you do that and you get the phone, and now you have no debt and you got your new phone. You see, that was actually better to me than having good credit where everyone will tell you yes, because if you're not careful, you'll get yourself in debt to the point where you gotta hustle real hard to get yourself out of it now. Like before you had credit, if you wanted to go on vacation, you would plan that vacation. It might take a whole year for you to plan that vacation, right? You go ahead and you save and you save and you save and you save and you save, and when the time comes, you go on vacation. That's normal. That's a smart thing to do. But because you have good credit, your good credit is making you lazy. Your good credit is taking away from your hustle, from your drive. Your good credit is taking away from your ambition. You just want to use your credit as a cushion now and sit back and work, do the bare minimum. And if you should ever need something more, you could rely on your credit. That's not a good habit. That's not a good spirit. And great credit can do that to you. Because now that I'm in debt, I can't even save up to go on vacation. I have to put 100% focus into this debt now. They want the horn. They're gonna bring the horns right while I'm making this video. Now the horns wanna come. I've been here all this time contemplating this video. As soon as I make the video, the horns wanna come. But that's all right though. That's all right. So it's like now I have to concentrate on clearing out my debt. It's like I can't even say, all right, let's say if I want something, there's no room right now for saving up for it. I have to clear out all of this debt. And one thing I'm not gonna do again is I'm not gonna consolidate my debts. I'm taking this thing head on, one debt at a time. Bing, bing, bing. That's the approach that I'm taking this time, because I learned from the last time I did this. It worked for a little while, but it wasn't 100% complete debt free. All it did was lower my stress a little bit. And after a while, that stress started accumulating again. Okay, so this time around I'm doing it differently, and it's going to take me longer because I'm knocking it all out by myself. I'm not asking anybody for help, so it's going to take me longer. But that's not a bad thing. You know why? Because when you had to save up for your vacation, it took a long time to save that money up. Like I said, it probably took you a whole year to save that money up just so that you could go on vacation for a couple days. So if it could take a whole year to save for something that you want to do, then I shouldn't have a problem with it taking a longer time for me to make myself debt free, because I'm doing it myself. And how am I doing it myself? I gotta hustle. I gotta do gig app work. You know what I'm saying? I gotta work tremendous amounts of overtime on my job. I'm working 84 hours in 1 week. I know some people would think that's insane. I think it's partly insane because the highest amount I've ever done was 78. It was 78. Before that, it was 72. Before that, it was 60. You know, now I done got to the point where I'm working 84 hours in 1 week. I'm not doing it every week, but I'm doing it this week. That's 7 days of 12 hours. Sunday through Saturday, 12 hours a day, no days off. I'm gonna fight this thing and I'm gonna get myself out of debt the long way. And that's the way to be. Good credit was my dream. Now debt is my nightmare. Now I'm fighting this nightmare. And once I get myself out of debt, I'm gonna be free. My window of opportunity, oh, it's gonna be open. And I'm gonna have to exercise discipline. I'm gonna have to exercise discipline at that point when I owe no one. That means all those monthly payments that I'm kicking out, all that money can stay with me now once I finish completing this mission. Okay, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm already screwing up, even though I'm not even towards the end of the tunnel yet. I'm already screwing up because I'm thinking about, wow, once you clear up and get rid of all these monthly payments, you could afford a car payment. You could get a new vehicle. But I need to keep the mindset that I talked about earlier, like saving up to get what you want. Maybe I need to just keep the car that I have, which is running good and not causing me any issues, and save up the long way to get a new vehicle. It's about hustling. It's about grinding. It's about working. It's about doing it yourself, because when you get help from the financial institutions, you have to pay it back with interest. The only thing credit does is it allows you to have what you want a whole lot faster than you would have it if you had to work for it. But you remember that saying, the best things come to those who wait? Oh yeah. And that, you could add on to that saying, no debt comes to those who wait. You know, I'd rather have a bunch of money than to have a bunch of credit. Now, to get money, you gotta work. Now, nobody said it would be easy, but that's where I'm at with it. I just wanted to share this energy today because I was doing a little bit of stressing, you know what I'm saying? Because I told you I'm working 7 days of 12 hours. I'm on day 4. I've completed day 4. When I go to work tonight, it's gonna be day 5. So I got 3 more days. 3 more days of 12 hours, and I'm gonna complete 84 hours in 1 week. And I'm gonna be proud of myself, and I'm gonna take whatever extra money and apply it and start knocking out this window debt, knocking out those credit card debts, knocking out the personal loans. I'm gonna keep grinding, and I'm gonna do it myself. And good credit was my dream, and I'm happy. It got me a lot. Good credit got me this house. Good credit got me my car, my other vehicle that I had that I totaled. I got it because of good credit. You know, good credit got me a lot of things. But now that I understand how it works, and it has a lot to do with income, because credit is the ability to make payments over a period of time. So as long as you have the ability to make payments over a period of time, then you could use your credit. But if you don't make enough money, you shouldn't be using a certain amount of your credit. You should keep it low if your income is not high, because you got to pay for all of that, and you'll wind up like me in a jam. I hope somebody gets value from this video. I'm not kicking myself in the behind. I have understanding right now. I have knowledge and wisdom and understanding. To have knowledge is just to know. You know, just because you have knowledge don't mean that you're wise. Just because you have knowledge don't mean that you have wisdom. To have knowledge just means to know. So first I had knowledge. I knew. I found out. I know. You know, and now I'm applying the knowledge. Now that makes me wise. That gives me wisdom. because I'm applying the knowledge. And when you have knowledge and wisdom, you have a complete understanding. And that's what I have. I understand, I have understanding, and that's why I'm making this video. And I'm going to make another video when I'm finished digging myself up out of this hole. And on that note, I appreciate y'all tapping in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.
I do this.